Hello, everybody. This is Angel Arcs, and welcome to another session of Let's Play in the Ready Persona 1 tabletop campaign. I am here with my four players. Let me first and foremost address the elephant in the room. So, due to personal reasons, one of our players, Dan, unfortunately decided that they are not able to continue with the campaign. And so we're still fully deciding what that means for us moving forward. I definitely wish Dan good luck. I was personally and genuinely looking forward, at least myself, I was genuinely looking forward to not only playing with him, but also knowing him as a person. He seemed like a really cool guy. Would have loved to have the opportunity to get to know him more. But unfortunately, it's probably not going to happen in this particular form. So, very apologize to everyone who was viewing who not only voted for him, but were also really interested in seeing him playing the game. I definitely hear you. But we're just going to move forward and decide very shortly after this what's going to happen. But anyway, now that that's taken care of, let's go jump into the warm-up question. So this is a warm-up question that I normally save until a little bit later, but I really want to start diving deeper into your reality, your real-life character's psyche a little bit more. And so I want, because I'm not really sure if all of you have thought about this very deeply. Can you share with everyone, and don't feel like you need to spoil anything. If you want to be very vague about it, that's okay. What would you say is your real-life character's deepest fear? What are they currently most afraid of?
Cade's deepest fear, I think, could be summed up as powerlessness.
I think for Abe, it's fairly simple, and it's just something happening to his voice. Just not being able to use his abilities to speak anymore. That's definitely his biggest fear.
But is it really his voice? Isn't that the point? He doesn't have one.
Mhm.
Not really.
Or maybe discovering that in fact there is nothing of a voice of his. It will never happen.
I think Gabe's biggest fear is basically turning into his dad, because he has a lot of qualities like his dad, but his dad's like a way worse version of him. So he's like, man, if I continue on like this, I might just end up like him.
That is actually something I have thought a lot about, specifically because I have abilities. Not going to say what. But Forrest's main fear is not being loved. Going through life and just not impacting anybody and feeling alone and abandoned.
Is that kind of why Forrest's personality sort of exudes this I always want people to like me kind of vibe? Okay, because that connects with me. I'm like that a lot. It really bothers me when people don't like me, and it's silly and really childish at times, but I have a problem with that more than like the average person. And so if somebody...
Me too.
If I meet someone who I feel like doesn't like me as much, I try extra hard to like be nice to them, or be like, "Oh wow, cool, you're into Stranger Things. I like Stranger Things." Like, almost to the point it's sad. But no, I totally hear you there. You all four can amongst yourselves select one NPC if you'd like me to answer that question for any NPC that you'd like. Especially if you think it might be interesting role-playing wise later on.
What are you guys thinking?
Cade has a few NPCs that could be really interesting to know.
Yeah.
That's true. He does have a lot of NPCs.
Oh, man.
Maybe one of those little old people that's still
Yeah.
alive. Maybe.
You don't have to deal with one, though. Thanks to Cade. Part of me kind of wants to find out, like, if the super villains that you throw in there are actually people or not, or if they're like AIs, and what their greatest fear would be. Like Hive Minds is the only one we know yet, but I don't want to impose.
If you want to, I mean, if you want to ask it of the virtual characters, that's fine too.
But that was my suggestion, trying to think outside of the box a little bit. I'm not sure how you guys feel.
I think
I want
the
to know
AI.
Janice's greatest fear.
What do you think it is? Well, I'm just curious what you think it is. Unless it spoils anything.
I have no idea.
Oh! As in you want to know what it is.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, Dr. Janice is something that you could.
I have no preference.
I'm down.
Yeah. Great. Janice
Dr.
is fine
Janice.
for me as well.
So that it's interesting with Dr. Janice because I like how Sage mentioned that Cade's biggest fear is powerlessness. And it's not so much that she has a fear of powerlessness. I think Dr. Janice feels like she has this fear of failing other people. Like, due to the nature of her job, she has to talk to a lot of very troubled individuals, and they're going through a lot of pretty darn serious stuff, and she kind of has to dive in there with them and naturally has to establish this trust in them. And so she almost feels like she's on the hook to like help these people out, and sometimes she's more successful at it than others. Sometimes there are people that are harder to crack than others. Sometimes no matter what she does, it's just hard for them to trust her. So I think that probably is her deepest fear, is that she sees and hears a lot of pain in her day-to-day. I think that what she's really afraid of is gaining that fatigue. My mom's a nurse. So as a nurse, you sort of get desensitized with a lot of things that are happening like in the hospital, especially when like people pass away. And you kind of have to, just for your own psyche. And so I guess she, doesn't want to be desensitized enough that all of a sudden all these people end up, for example, just being just a number to her, and in that case she ends up really failing them. So yeah, hopefully that gives a little bit more insight on her.
So she just doesn't want to become the psychiatrist from Joker.
Yeah, I guess you mean Harley Quinn?
No. I'm
which
the Joker movie.
Yeah, with
Was it
Joaquin
just Joker?
Phoenix.
Gotcha. I actually haven't seen that one yet. That's
I have
particularly
not
neat.
either, but
But you just okay.
I've seen like a breakdown of the movie, and it goes into like his mental disability and how it wasn't actually indicative of the violence, but it was something that when not properly controlled. I'm a nerd, okay? Just don't judge me.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
No, this is great. This is why I ask you all to ask me questions about the warm-up questions, because I didn't really think about that either until Sage brought it up, and I was like, yeah, I can see that as her biggest fear. Okay, before we get into the game proper, let's pull out our tarot decks and pull a major arcana from the decks, and we'll see what you all have. Okay, I can see the picture, but I don't know which one that is.
The Hermit.
The Hermit.
Ooh.
Okay, the Hermit I think is... Ooh, interesting. Okay. It actually represents Ave's brother, Rook. So, if you happen to run into Rook today, who knows? Mm-hmm. Or even Rook's virtual character,
Mm-hmm.
if he has, assuming he has one, you'll get a +2 bonus.
Yeah, sounds good.
In addition to that, there are two others. You may save it as well to be used as extra effort power for free, and that's it. Also can be used if you'd want to just get a blanket bonus to increase your +1 to all your rolls when you're trying to interact with anyone from the factionless who's factionless. So it doesn't really fall into any of the other categories. And if there's a specific character you want to use it on, you want to check and ask me, I can just tell you where they lie.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
I pulled the Magician.
The Magician is Ave, which means for the rest of this session, if you interact with Ave in any way, you may add a +2 bonus to your rolls It can be for his
Checks and
benefit or
sleight of
not.
hand.
It can be for his benefit or not.
No!
So,
You're gonna manipulate me. Don't do it.
yeah, that's a great card to have. And because that is Ave's card, it must be in play this session. You can't just save it. It has to be in play this session. All right. Who's next? Yes, go ahead.
The magician.
Also, everybody's manipulating Ave today.
No, stop.
Did you get this for us, Abe? Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Perfect.
Give
Love
me
it.
all your worldly
Love it.
possessions.
I'm gonna lose
and
my
then
motorcycle, my apartment,
yeah,
and steal everything from me.
I really wanna interact with that Kenku over there. Like for some reason, I just feel like I can get him to do whatever I want. Go ahead, go ahead, Abe or Joey.
All right. I have the Empress.
Oh, Empress.
Ooh.
Okay, the Empress is a representative of Jennifer Steele. Jennifer Steele being the water genasi in the wheelchair. So that gives you a +2 with interactions with her if you run into her. You also can save it to get hero HP inspiration. Heroic
Hero point, probably.
Yeah.
hero point inspiration, I think.
Mhm.
And yeah, there you go.
All right.
All right, so let's go set the stage. So today, I want to briefly start with Gabe.
Oh no.
So, the present time when the campaign officially starts, actually takes place roughly 3 months, give or take, since the last scene that you all had in the bartender with Jack in the bar, which means it's roughly 3 months since the Chronologic Killer was caught, basically. So just keep that in mind. So I have wanted to first say that, Gabe, you are at your main office where Vita is being developed by all of you software engineers, programmers. It is a very cushy, like, office tower. I wouldn't say, like, maybe I'll just say it. Think Shinra Corporation from Final Fantasy VII. You know, it's one of those, like, buildings that they provide anything and everything. They've got masseuses, they've got, like, several floors of different restaurants that all free food to the employees. They've got, like, salons. Essentially, if you needed to, you could just live at work. And you probably know what that means. They have all these facilities so that their employees essentially can and probably do live at work, for better or for worse. I actually,
Right, if I have a house, I paid for a whole house with my PowerPoints to.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the CEO of this company is a gnome, a female gnome known as Madame Anacra Magus. And she is also happens to be the current leader of the Confederacy of Wands as well. So she's a pretty big name in the city. Madame Magus had basically sent you a message saying that she wanted to see you in her office ASAP. Do you do so?
Yes, he's probably eating a donut, like, on his break. He's like, and he like, just kind of rushes there, still eating his donut.
You basically walk your way over to her office, and her office is very large, obviously larger than most everyone else. She's very important, and she knows it. I wouldn't say she's a narcissistic person, but she's definitely proud of her accomplishments. She's got, like, on her wall, she's got, you know, plaques of awards and other things that she's gotten. And she's not in her office alone, even outside of yourself. There actually is a older, I wouldn't call him old necessarily, but it's hard to tell given his race. There is an older Goliath in her office with very thick glasses, who looks like that. The madam like stands up, and even though she's at a shorter stature compared to like medium-sized characters, for example, she still exudes like a sense of authority despite her height. And she says, "Oh, Gabriel, good to see you, good to see you. Gabriel, I'd like you to meet one of my comrades. This is Dr. Kemper."
Hello there, and he has his door in his right hand. He moves it to his left hand and goes to shake his hand.
You go to shake his hand. Is this like a jelly filled or powdered or like frosted donut by any chance?
It's frosted, but his hands are clean. So like, he's
okay.
He's like.
Okay, Dr. Kemper, looks at the hand and then he will go ahead and shake it. The reason why I called you to my office is because I have a bit of a proposal for you. Well, actually, Dr. Kemper has a proposal. I'll actually let him do most of the speaking. And Dr. Kemper will clear his throat. And he says, "Mr. Stoll, I was just speaking with Madame Magus here, and inform to you that we are trying to collaborate with you fine folks at Vita." Necromagus will say, "Yes, it is part of our commitment to support the rehabilitation program." Maybe I should explain really quickly. I don't mean to interject, Doctor, but I'd like to put you in a very special mission, so to speak. We're looking for beta testers to test out some of our experimental features, new experimental features and modules that we'll be releasing for the game. And we want you to lead this beta tester team, if that's all right with you.
I'd be honored.
Well, you did very well with your last performance review. All of your peers said that you're very loyal, you're very good at what you do, you're very intelligent, and so I was looking through your files and I figured, hey, why not give this guy a shot?
Oh, it's an honor that everyone holds me in a high regard.
The Goliath then speaks up and said, "As part of this collaboration, one of the subjects of the program is going to be assigned to your team. That is going to be okay with you?" he asks.
Yeah. Who's being assigned?
Well, he will pull out. I'm gonna say it's basically like their futuristic version of a cell phone. And it's one of those things where you can kind of hold it up in your palm and it shows like a hologram of some sort. If you wanted to share your screen with a bunch of people or even a room full of people, you can just pull up a hologram. So what will appear is basically the mugshot of Cade Oz. And it's a hologram that's animated, so almost think like in Harry Potter where they've got the wanted posters and they're actually like moving. So Sage, could you like sort of show when Cade was first captured and he was being booked, like what is he doing? What is expression? What does your hologram do?
He would kind of have like these wide kind of almost scared eyes, and he would look like absolutely ragged from trying to run during that time. So he looks like a freaking mess and is this really young kid with these big terrified eyes.
Gabe, I would like you to roll a local or history knowledge or just a general knowledge roll, because I want to determine whether you or not you recognize this person as a Chronology killer.
So, with eidentic memory, hold on.
Okay. Then
with eidentic memory, I get a +5 circumstance bonus on any checks to remember things.
Yeah. Do
so,
Yep.
hold on.
And just tell me if it succeeds. You don't have to tell me the value. I just need to know if it succeeds.
I'm gonna roll. I just roll intelligence. No, +5 to that, so that would be 17.
17.
No, not 17. 16. Sorry.
Okay. So that's yeah. You almost immediately recognize this kid as the Chronergy killer, this notorious killer that killed a whole bunch of people.
Is this the wrong file, or is that who I think it is?
Oh, so you're up to date on current events, I see. The doctor says. I understand this is a lot to take in, but at least humor me. Hear me out a little bit. I wanted to show you a recording of what we took of Mr. Oz when he first was brought into the facility. So, the hologram will change now, and you basically will see this relatively featureless room. And Cade will be kind of strapped to a chair, and he's got all of these, like, you know how when people are running like tests on people, they've got these suction cup looking things like on their head, and then they've got something like strapped into their arm to check their blood pressure, like monitoring them, etc., etc., etc. So we're gonna roleplay this flashback out, Sage. So, Sage, this is probably, I would say, the next day right after you were put in jail, basically. So maybe it took a long time for you to finally fall asleep, but whether or not you stayed up all night, eventually your body is going to be exhausted and you'll fall asleep. And when you wake up, you find yourself in this very featureless white room. You're strapped into a chair. There doesn't seem to be any machine that all of these things are actually connected to. At least you can't really see necessarily. And initially you're all by yourself. So what happens to Cade in that moment?
Hello? What's going on? Hello?
You call up for a little bit, and then the wall, like a rectangular section of the wall, slides open. It was so well camouflaged that it didn't even look like a door was there, but it slides open, and in walks Dr. Kemper. Now, this is the very first time that you've actually met this person face to face. Not sure if you decided for yourself whether you liked him or not from the beginning, or if you even trust the man from the beginning. I will let you decide that.
No idea yet. Just let me out. What are you doing? I'm strapped down.
The Goliath approaches you. He is a relatively large in stature compared to yourself. I mean, he is a Goliath after all. He's sort of got like this digital looking pad in front of him, and he's just kind of swiping left as you're talking, because he seems to be in very deep thought. But eventually he will stop looking at your file, and he'll pull it down, and he'll say, Mr. Cade Oz, I presume.
Yes.
You were just taken in yesterday night as of 9:59 p.m., I believe.
Sure, yeah.
Don't be alarmed. This is just part of the procedure. Everyone who comes into this facility has to go through this process. Think of it as an orientation.
I was making a mistake. I was helping.
He's looking at your file, and he says, well, I want to give you a chance to show us that you're helping. Can you do that?
Depends on what you're asking me.
I am just asking you to be honest. To be honest about your responses, to be honest about your behavior, to be honest about what you would actually do given certain circumstances and situations. Mr. Oz, what you're about to go through is a simulation. And based on what happens in that simulation, all that we ask is for you to do what you normally would do if this actually were happening in real life. Can you do that?
Probably.
Okay. He will sort of nod towards a bunch of people that you don't see, presumably over your shoulder. and very quickly, it almost feels like your mind first starts being transported somewhere, even though you're still strapped to the chair. And then little by little, you start feeling a weird sensation that starts from your head and just sort of cascades down your body, almost like your forehead goes to this, your forehead follows your brain, followed by your eyes, followed by your nose, and then all of a sudden your toes, tips of your toes, end up into this simulation last. So, this is the scene that the simulation does. Mr. Oz, you are in the DMV, and it is a terrible, terrible time to be at the DMV because it's very late, it's after hours, you've been stuck in this line. All you're trying to do is you're just trying to renew your driver's license. And you've been here all day, and you're just tired, it's hot, maybe the air conditioning broke down. The other reason why it's awful is because they're short-staffed. There's only one person by this late hour, so only one person left, and you're the last person in line. In this specific room, right now, after the last person was helped, it is just you and this other person who's about to take care of you that is in this room. The only other person in this building, because it's so late, is like the what do you call it? Like the guard over in the other room, and you can already start hearing him snoozing. Joey, I will add you to this simulation to play the role of the very, very old, incompetent, obnoxious person that's about to help this young man with his driver's license. And Joey, your job is to push Cade's buttons. I'll let you decide how you want to play this.
I'm here to renew my license.
Excuse me, speak up, boy. I can't hear you so well.
I said I'm here to renew my license.
All right. Papers, please.
Here you go.
Let me look up. I can't seem to find any Caddy Izo.
Cade Oz.
Speak up, boy.
Cade Oz.
Cade, what a strange name you have. Couldn't you pick something easier, like, I don't know, Steven or Joseph or something?
Sir, I've been standing here for hours. I've had you've done this with every single person in the line in front. Come on,
I've been working here for 50 years, lad. 50 years. It's way longer than you have been standing in this line, isn't it? Now wait until I find some records.
Please hurry.
He starts ticking. It's like slowly.
Like the sloths from Zootopia.
Cade. Is that one thing? Cados? Or is it?
No, Cade is the first name, Oz is the last. Yeah.
Right.
Cade, you'll feel, while this is happening, you'll feel that your phone starts to vibrate. Because you got a text message. And you take a look at it, and annoyingly you realize that it's your boss from the job that you just got, and they're asking, where are you? Where the hell are you? I stuck my neck out for you. If you don't show up in the next like 10, 15 minutes, then forget it, basically. And you're like, you need this job to survive. Like, you need this job to eat.
Sir, I have 15 minutes. I need you to get this done now.
All right.
I know you've done this.
Well, if your records are
same thing again.
Speak up, boy.
Sir, I have a very important question for you. Do you ever get sick of just wasting everybody's air? Does that ever bother you that you're just this breathing out basically dust at this point? Does that ever cross your mind?
Not really, no. I'm just here to renew licenses.
How can you live for 80 fucking years and still be so incompetent?
Well, we are very healthy people in my family, you see, and I'll be living for far longer. 80 years. I tell you that. Now shut up and let
I'm
me
going to
look
give
at
you
your
60
record.
seconds. 60 seconds. Get my license renewed now. Get your shit together. Get it done. You have 60 seconds. I'm counting. Go.
He starts to look.
There seem to be some irregular things in your records. I'll have to go in the back and see if I can find the paper version of it where it's all written out.
Go.
All right. You wait here, young boy.
Yeah, the
You have an
second he
entire
turns his
life
back,
ahead of you.
the second he turns his back, I
Mhm.
want to stealth right behind him.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, go ahead. Roll. Actually, go ahead. We'll play this out. Roll a stealth, please.
so I do have an ability that it's like stealth expertise, which is essentially says I can either roll or I can just take 20. I roll a 10 and then add mine.
Oh, okay.
So I'll just take 20.
Yeah, you can take 20. And this guy, his hearing probably isn't the greatest anyway. He's not very. So yeah, he turns around. He has his back to you. He's hobbling over. And what happens?
Well, once we go into this back room, I do want to do like a quick scout to see how private this is.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's certainly pretty private because that's where they keep. Hardly anyone ever really goes back here for the paper versions of these documents, and so yeah, it's pretty secluded from everything else.
All right. I want to choke this guy out. I want to.
Sure. So you'll go right behind him, and is it going to be like one of these kind of things?
Yeah, rear
Is
naked
it...
choke. I just.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So you do that. Now, you, sir, even despite your age, you've got some fight in you. So I don't think you would just give up. So what happens?
Black belt in karate.
Well, I don't think he has a belt in karate, but he definitely is not gonna like just. He's like, oh, I'm a poor old man. Oh, like he's not gonna be like that. So what would he do?
All right, I would think there might be maybe some sort of a fire alarm systems or something nearby that would alert anyone. So he's trying to go to reach for that because he knows that this is not gonna.
What are you doing, boy? Let me go.
And he's going to start reaching towards some button or
Sure.
something.
Yeah, just for kicks and giggles, can you just roll? We'll just use Abe's stats. Just can you roll an opposed strength with Cade, just for kicks, and maybe.
You take a -5.
Oh, nice. So take a -5.
Yeah.
Wow.
0.
I do.
Oh, all right. So unfortunately, you are not able to move at all to reach the fire system or alarm system. However, you can off to the side. There might be a desk, and there is a blunt object, like I don't know, or maybe even like a vase of some sort that you could use if you'd like. So you can grab that if you want to.
Definitely, yeah. I'm gonna grab for it and try to smash it in Kate's face.
Okay, you'll go ahead and try to smash Cade's face. Do you attempt to dodge that, Cade?
Yeah, I would attempt to like withhold the arm, so keep my grapple on him, but restrain the arm so he can't get momentum on me.
Sure. What kind of check would that be? Another opposed strength?
Oh, I guess I'll do that.
Yeah, do another opposed.
Still take a -5. I have improved hold. So
Yeah.
Yes.
So improved hold means you can still like manipulate other like somebody's arms in addition to.
It just says your grab attacks are particularly difficult to escape.
Okay,
so it
that makes
depends on how
sense.
you interpreted that.
Okay, then I think that's specific enough. Go ahead and roll again.
Ooh, is it -5?
Yes,
Yeah.
-5.
13.
13.
13. That beats me.
Okay.
I believe I'm at 6.
So you grab the vase. You do manage. I mean, it's a struggle. Like you basically are fighting for your life, and maybe some adrenaline kicks in, despite this other man's youth and strength. You grab the vase. You smash it across Gabe's head. So Gabe, for a moment, like you're slightly dazed, maybe enough to at least loosen your hold on this guy. And there's like a gash of blood right across your forehead. There's shards of sharp, vase like shards on the floor now. Oh, go ahead. What were we gonna say, Sage?
At that point, like if he's putting up that much of a struggle, I want to stab him.
Okay, so you're gonna grab like one of the vase shards.
Yeah, either that or my knife. One of the two.
Oh.
Yeah.
Up to you? Which one do you want to use?
I like the style points at the shard. Let's pick up the shard and.
All right. You'll pick up the shard. Now I also want to ask Joey, what does your character do? What is he attempting to do now that he's slightly dazed?
Well, as soon as he lets loose of him, it's gonna push him a little bit away, and then just say,
You're never getting your license, boy. Guards!
just gonna yell out.
All right. You're gonna yell out, but that's all you're gonna do, right? You're just gonna yell out. Okay, he's just standing there yelling out. Go ahead. What do you do, Cade?
I want to kill him. I want to stab him. I'm gonna do what's it called when I do like a reckless attack, essentially, where I drop my defenses to make it more likely to hit. I'm doing that one.
Okay, that's fine. I don't remember the name. Like, somebody might have to help me. Kyle, if you can just do me a favor, just be the rules guy.
Oh yeah, I'll try to. Like I said, I think it's all-out attack.
All out.
All out attack.
So I believe that is a 13 to hit.
Yeah.
Okay. Sage, I will leave it up to you how visceral you want to describe this.
Okay.
Totally up to you.
So I just want to jam it into his windpipe, and very tenderly, I do want to begin whispering to him, just as he's bleeding out. And I just want, this is your greatest moment. This is what you are best at. Finally, you're not going to be wasting that air. It's going to be worth giving to somebody who's worth it. So, goodbye. And know that it's for the best. And I'll like kind of almost be gentle, setting him down.
Okay. And I'll go ahead. You can, Joey, give us a death scene. What happens to your character in response?
As you're whispering this in his ear, he's gonna look confused. Just,
I can't hear you, boy.
And just dies.
Okay. When, as soon as he dies, there's just a brief moment where Cade is just alone with this body. What does he do with himself? It doesn't seem like guards heard him yelling, so it's just silent. It's just dead silent in this room of files and cabinets.
Kind of standing up, that was fun. And then I'll turn around and try and go get my own license thing set up as quick as I can. If I can't, I'll just go to work.
Yes, and as you're doing that, the space around you starts to dissolve and fade. You start feeling, again, yourself returning back, starting with your thoughts, followed by your head, followed by your eyes, followed like everything going back, and you are now formally back into the featureless room again, and Dr. Kemper is still hovering over you. When you return, you can like blink and sort of like adjust your vision.
That was fun. I like that.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Mr. Oz. Thanks to this experience, we've collected enough data to make a baseline. And that's when the recording stops, Gabe. So you just witnessed all of that. You saw all of that, including the simulation.
So out of character, is the like that technology for like the dive, like the VR technology, is that like a really high end one that they like just they chucked them in?
You recognize that as essentially being a very similar technology to what's being used in the game when you log into the game into the virtual world.
All right, so it's high end stuff. I kind of looks in and goes, "Okay, you want me to show me his motive?"
The doctor says, "I wanted to show you his baseline because that's going to be very important in order for this proposal to work. Basically, this is what we have informed Cade. For the last 3 months, he's been going through the rehabilitation program, and he has been showing a lot of promise. So much promise that several of my colleagues insisted on having him be the candidate for this test team that you're going to lead. In return for his participation on this team of yours, Mr. Oz will be given the ability to return back to society under one condition. First off, I will preface this that we can't exactly monitor him 24/7. In fact, it would not be in our best interest to do that. This is a rehabilitation experiment, after all, and babysitting him the whole time would muddy the data for the experiment. If we, myself and my colleagues, truly believe that this program works, there does need to be a level of trust, a semi-honor system. And I say semi because there's no way the Confederacy of Swords would allow someone like him to roam free without some sort of precaution. So this is what we propose to him. He holds up a vial, and he says, in this vial is a very special protein that when it is introduced into your bloodstream, it can measure spikes in the chemical imbalances triggered by strong emotional sensation. In other words, it's an empathic detector. When we first put him through this program, as you saw, we ran him through a number of simulations. That was just one of the first, to collect a baseline of how he feels when he, to put it in his own words, makes the world a better place. There's a type of euphoria that's very unique to his own set of feelings, yet common with others who have had mental challenges like his. He cannot help it. It's simply a part of his nature. If something were to happen while Mr. Oz was out in society, integrated back into society, and he became the suspect of the murder, we can extract a sample of his blood and it will tell us if he happened to reach that similar sense of euphoria when the victim was killed. If the beta doesn't match, then it essentially almost proves that he's innocent. The thing that I am trying to get him to understand is that none of this information gets transmitted back to any of us. It's all in his blood system until it's extracted. As long as he refrains from allowing himself or allowing the chronology killer to come out, there won't be any reason for us to ever check his blood. And even if there were a reason, this protein can essentially prove his innocence if he is innocent. That is why we brought you in, because as the one leading this team, Dr. Kemper was hoping that you might be able to convince him to participate in this program. And Dr. Kemper says, as promising as a gentleman that Mr. Oz has become, especially given what you just saw on your screen from 3 months ago, the man does not trust me, to put it lightly.
And like I said, I kind of just look at my boss, like she could definitely tell, like, there's part of that goes, no way. But then there's always that part of him that goes, you gotta do it. And I'm like, okay.
This is for that promotion. This is for that promotion,
the
man.
ultimate promotion. Like, so basically, I kind of look at, she probably knows the look of, like, I don't want to do this. But that part of me says, you gotta do this.
Dr. Kemper says, Madame Megas, she says, you are loyal. She says, you've been with the company for many years. She said that if anyone would be good for this job, it would be you. And she also says that you are a good man.
Thank you. Like I said, I'm second generation. My dad's also part of this company, so this company's given my family a lot. And he kind of just looks and goes,
If it makes you feel any better, Mr. Stoll, Mega says, worst case scenario, you would not be his primary target. Worst case. You're still relatively young. I very much doubt, unless you happen to be working in a DMV anytime soon and refuse to renew his driver's license, that you would have any personal issue. I maybe would not highly recommend that you have him introduce him to your grandfather or anything.
yeah. Don't worry, I don't know him. He goes, yeah, I'm young. Asimar's lived to 160, so I'm relatively young. Okay. I'll do it. But he kind of just looks up, kind of just under his breath, goes, "Oh, my divine ancestors, please help me."
Okay. Dr. Kemper says, we'll make arrangements to have you admitted into the facility to come see Mr. Oz yourself. We'll take care of the travel expenses. And of course, you'll have a per diem for lunch as well, for your trouble. Okay. So, the next day, Gabe, you are going to go to the facility where Cade is currently being incarcerated. It sort of has that Alcatraz kind of feeling. It's on an island. You know, there's a lot of like spotlights around, although it's in the middle of the day, so none of that's happening at the moment. You get there by some sort of like small boat, and several of the guards will meet you, and they will eventually you'll go through security, etc., etc. But you'll eventually go into this room that I guess almost looks like a room where they interrogate you, kind of thing. And Cade, you are sort of escorted down the hall by these two guards. You're handcuffed right now. Let's say that, you know, you were just finishing breakfast. There might be like a piece of toast like that you're chewing at the moment. The door will swing open, and they will, you know, sit Cade down in the chair opposite you from across this desk. How are you dressed right now, Gabe? Just out of curiosity.
So he's dressed like a usual. He has like his lab coat. He's wearing flip flops. He's wearing some sort of tie-dye shirt and like and shorts that are what do you call them? But it's like multi like stripes together.
Plaid?
Yes.
Plaid?
Yes. So it's just this mix mash of just horrible clothing choices. Like he just was like, oh, I gotta go and just pick them.
Okay. Go ahead. He just said hi to you.
Hello there.
You look like a flea market.
Well, hey, I look like a pretty nice flea market.
Okay.
So also, Hark, he's been in the game, right?
He has. He's been in the game.
And I see
yes.
they told me that.
They did tell you that. If there's any other information that you want to ask me, if they told you, that's fine too. You can ask me.
So, Cade, I heard you've been enjoying my game.
Your game.
I mean, I'm practically working on it. Vita.
Oh no shit! You made Vita?
I mean, I wasn't the creator, but I've been working on it for 17 years.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. I like that game. You want a little bit of toast?
Nah, thank you. Ugh. So what kind of build did you play?
So I'm a Blink Blade. I move fast, teleport. It's fun, man. Like I like it. You did a good job.
Thank you. The teleportation feature was the one I designed.
Yeah, that's my favorite. Move fast. I move like half a mile in a couple seconds. It's badass.
It's nice. It's nice.
Dude, I pull off some cool moves. And then, like this ship thing, it was cool. It was cool. Man, I want to play.
I'm happy you're enjoying it. I put in a lot of work on that.
Gabe, I will actually say that now that he's mentioning the ship and you're looking at his profile, you recognize this character. Even if it was just
Briefly.
like offhand, briefly.
I think I've heard of you. I think I saw you.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's probably because of Knave of Diamonds, man. I told him to spread my name. So if you're hearing about me, it's probably because of him.
Oh yeah, he's doing his job.
That's right.
So,
And I'll offer you the same thing, man. If you spread my name around in your game, I'll kill things for you. In or out of game.
I imagine when he says in game, Gabe's like yes, out of game's like okay. Gabe kind of goes, so they informed me that they would like you to join my newly formed beta testing team.
Right, yeah. What are we doing?
I haven't been told that, but we should be testing all new features that have not been built into the game yet.
New features of the game?
Oh yeah, before
That
we
sounds
release
fun.
it to the full public. I know.
I'll do that.
You're in?
Oh yeah. Get out of here, get to play the game. I'm in.
Are you okay with the injection?
I mean, no, but if it's my ticket out of here, then whatever. If I bleed enough, it'll probably just leave, right? I'll figure it out.
Gabe was like, I don't think that's how that works. Especially because they always use some of the older methods.
Like that. I don't know. I'll figure that out later. But for now, I get to go outside. I get to play the game. It'll be good.
Are you telling me you're trying to figure out how to dance around the system?
Let me ask you, Gabe, if someone was injecting something into your blood, would you not try and get it out?
I mean, depending on what it is.
Yeah, there you go. Seems pretty human.
Gabe's kind
I'm
of just
confused.
like,
Is this complicated? Like
I said, Gabe just looks up and in his head he goes, oh, by the divine ancestors.
So when do we go?
I think they have to set everything up for you to go back. I'm not the one dealing with that. I'm just the one ahead of the beta team.
Okay.
So,
Well, count me in.
all right. And I assume he's like chained to like handcuffs.
Yeah.
But Gabe still
Yes.
offers his hand for a handshake.
And don't touch me.
Okay. And Gabe kind of just goes, well, I look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah. Nice to meet you, boss.
And he walks out like
you walk out and some of the guards just outside who are about to go in to escort him back, they say, so what you think? One of the guards asks you. Piece of work, huh?
I really don't know what to think. He doesn't seem crazy at first. It's just some minor things that are off.
The second guard says, so not that it's any of my business, but you actually buy all this? You actually think that this is a good idea to put him back out there? It's not my call, but...
And Gabe kind of thinks for a moment. And he's like, I do what I'm told. I'm not 100% sure on this. I hope it works. I pray to my ancestors that it does. But I'm not 100% sure. Maybe it's not the worst case to try it on, at least.
When you tell the guard, I just do what I'm told, he kind of nods and says, Yeah, I get that. I get that.
When the guards walk in to take me away, I go,
Yeah.
I think that went well. Let's go.
The two guards, they're used to your quips. So maybe one of them sighs a little bit and it says, "Come on, Cade. Let's get you back in your cell."
Sure thing, Steve.
And he says, "I keep telling you, my name is Stefan, not Steve. It's pronounced Stefan."
Whatever you say, Steve.
He just kind of groans. And the other guard actually laughs. He chuckles a little bit at that. He says, "You know, man, he's just trying to push your buttons, you know? He's just trying to play you." And he says, I know, Stefan says.
Yeah. Charlie has the right of it.
Stefan says, "Why does he always get your name right?" "Because he hates me less," Charlie says. "Great.
True.
Yeah, glad to see that the bar is set so high," Stefan says. He says, when you're in this kind of line of work, you kind of just have to roll with the punches.
I want to reverse pickpocket some toast into his pocket.
Yes, do it.
I have expertise in this as well, so I take 20.
Yes. He won't notice. He won't notice. Is this into Stefan or is it into Charlie's?
It would be into Stefan's.
Stefan's. Okay. You know, you put it in there. Maybe there's like.
I want to tear out like two little eyes and a little smiley face, so it's just toast with a little smiley face on.
Love it. That's awesome. And I'm gonna say the scene fades away there. All right. Forest.
Ooh,
Let's get back.
hi.
Let's get to you, Ethan. Hi. Okay, so here's a question for you, Forrest. So if I remember correctly, when you were at the last scene from last session, you and Ave were talking about Seymour.
Uh-huh.
And I think you mentioned something about seeing him at some point.
Yeah.
How soon were you planning on doing that after that scene? I'm just curious.
I don't know.
Like immediately, like maybe in a couple weeks, like what?
Well, whenever Ave would feel like they have the best time. Nothing too. I don't have a lot on my schedule, so I can do it really whenever. I can probably fit it in some afternoon, or when I'm actually leading the band, directing the band.
Sure.
I could probably fit it in like just before or after.
Sure.
But it's really whenever.
So do you want to schedule something maybe in the next week or so?
Yeah, sure.
Because you know Seymour from the community center. So, okay. So there is this relatively rundown community center in the city that is owned by Seymour. And this is also the community center where Forrest runs the orchestra, or his orchestra, basically. And so as you, Forrest, you're kind of, it's the beginning of practice. People are putting their instruments together, they're warming up, etc., etc. When in walks this individual. He looks older in this picture. He might look a little bit older in his age, but once he starts talking, you realize he's a bit younger than he looks. Maybe closer to like 14. You know, maybe not quite 15, but 14. I don't think you've ever seen this kid before, but he sort of walks in and he has some sort of like an instrument case that you've never personally have seen before. He sort of just like looks around like he's lost. What do you do?
Hi there. Are you lost? Did you need something?
Hiya, mister.
Hi.
the kid says. He says, "I'm looking for Mr. or Mrs. Esmeralda? He's looking at look at the list. Esmeralda?
Oh, that's me. Hi. I
Oh.
don't think I have your name.
Oh, my name's Jacob. What's yours?
Esmeralda is fine, but if you'd like, you can just call me Forest.
Forest?
Mhm.
Like, with trees?
No, not with trees. Like 2 R's. Not. It's an old Ceramic. It's just Forest.
Forest is spelled with 2 R's?
Forest, yes, not Forest.
I've been lied to my whole life.
Not like. Oh dear Lord. Lords above. They're 2 different words. It's fine.
Forest is 2 different words?
Oh no. Right. Don't worry about it. It's just Forest. Don't worry about the semantics.
Semantics?
You know what? Let's just get you settled down.